Good morning. Welcome to the Carroll County Commissioners' open meeting for Thursday, May the 8th. And as we always want to do, we'll start with Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. And I think as we rotate back and forth, we start with Commissioner Rothstein today.
Okay. A few things, maybe not in all in the same order or in chronological order, but first and foremost, Commissioner Kyler and I were fortunate to attend Commissioner Vigliotti's State of the County in his own 20-town library, and he did a great job from talking about Vikings to all the great things that are happening up in 20-town and in the community. So it was great. It's always a great attendance up there, and people are very much involved. It also highlighted the council was there, which is congratulations to the 20-town elections and their selections, along with Mount Airy with Mayor Heschauer and their council votes, along with Mayor Link and the council that was elected. So it was 20-town, Sykesville, and Mount Airy. I believe next week is New Windsor, Union Bridge, and Westminster. So, you know, everybody's vote counts. You're eligible, you're, want to stay involved in the community. One of the best ways to do it is get out there and make your vote count. But congratulations to all those that were victorious, and also congratulations to all those that participated. And my recommendation is that if you were not victorious in an election, that doesn't mean that you don't serve. Find opportunities to continue to serve your community. But that was some good stuff this past week. Commissioner Kyler and I attended the Citizen Planning Committee. Mr. Hine and Daphne Daly and what's his name? Who ran it? Kenny?
Andrew
Gray. He did a great job. And, it was a lot of fun. I think there was 14 in attendance. It was a 6-week program. And Commissioner Kyler and I had the opportunity to be there the last day, having a conversation. But again, it's great to see the community engaged in activities like that, and very well run, Andrew, for the entire program. Yeah, that's it. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Couple other things. Sunday we had the Veterans Celebration. The weather wasn't the best, to say the least, but we made the most of it. And, thank you so much for all those that were involved, that are volunteers, that are engaged in recognizing our veterans and their families. We do it right. We do it right in Carroll County in so many things, and serving our veterans is one of the highlights. And right there, that's Deputy Secretary Bob Finn for special projects dealing with the Veterans Home and getting the Veterans Home established here in Carroll County. But yes, so just thank you to everybody involved. Another thing we do right, had the opportunity to be at the Board of Public Works yesterday with Commissioner Kyler. He did a great job highlighting the opportunity and value that Shamrock Farms will be a part of the Pimlico family. It's going to be the training facility for Pimlico as Pimlico is getting revitalized. And they'll shut down Pimlico after the race next week and renovate it for the following year. I think the Preakness will be run at Laurel, and then in 2027 it'll be the inaugural race for the new Pimlico. And the training facility for that is Shamrock Farms here in Carroll County. And the governor just said some great things about this opportunity. Shamrock Farms was one of 8 farms that was considered, and then the short list, I think, came down to 2 or 3. And Carroll County being the heart of Maryland, as we are, we also, again, do things right. Water, sewer, opportunity for this. And I think the only negotiation when Shamrock Farms was decided from the owners to be used, it had nothing to do with the price. It had to do with the name. And they wanted their name continued on because it's a family farm. And, you don't get much better than that when you're not even negotiating a price for a farm so beautiful as Shamrock is. But it's just going to be a great opportunity. It's one of the largest projects to come to Carroll County from the state. It's $110 million, give or take. We have invested ourselves in this project. It's just, I think, good news all around. And the other is the design of the training facility, which was new news to us, is a gentleman who's designed one other in the country, and this is being told it will be better than the ones already designed. So it should be the most beautiful training facility in our country and for our thoroughbreds. So looking forward to bringing thoroughbred racing back to the forefront as it belongs here in Maryland and in the heart of Maryland here in Carroll County. So great stuff. Let's see.
Did you mention the wreath laying on Sunday and down at?
Oh, yeah.
Because I wanted to mention that,
Yeah.
but you're more knowledgeable.
No, it's all good. It's a solemn ceremony held by the National Guard every year, a wreath laying ceremony out at camp, not camp, but
Veteran?
Federer.
yeah, that.
Sorry.
Like the tennis player.
Sorry, people.
And the Major General Burkhead conducts the ceremony, and it's to remember those that have fallen, that have served in the National Guard. And it's a beautiful monument. Again, the weather wasn't cooperating, so it was an indoor ceremony, but the outdoor monument is gorgeous, and it highlights the services that those that have fallen from our National Guard here in Maryland. And Commissioner Kyler and I were invited to attend, and it was really well done. So yeah,
And it's Camp Fettered.
Camp Fettered.
And
It's really sad.
One, no,
No,
Oh, well.
just one
Just one.
Fettered. But yeah, that's right. That was,
Okay,
I
Commissioner
appreciate that.
Bigliotti, bail us out.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. So the first thing I'll do is I want to associate myself with Commissioner Rothstein's comments and compliments to everybody who has participated in and won in a municipal election over the course of the last week or so. And as he had pointed out, there is still more to come. So if you live in a municipality, definitely get out and vote. So over the weekend, I attended the celebration of life for Darrell Hale, who passed away early last month. Darrell was the Director of Planning and Zoning and Code Enforcement for the City of Taneytown, as well as a previous councilman. The celebration was very well attended and was a testament to the difference that Daryl made in and beyond the town. He was a devoted husband, father, Marine veteran, and a very, very good friend, so I will certainly miss him. As Commissioner Rothstein had alluded to, I also had the pleasure of attending the annual veteran celebration at the Farm Museum along with my fellow commissioners. And despite the rain, really was a phenomenal event. It was very well attended as well. I met a lot of awesome people, and I really can only commend and compliment everyone who had a hand in making that celebration the awesome success that it was. And I want to give Commissioner Rothstein a lot of credit because he was a driving force behind getting this thing established in the first place.
Into a story and make it relevant to Tawnytown. So just.
Do you want me to share that story? No? All right.
No, but it was a good one.
We've heard it. We've heard it.
Well, if anybody's interested, you can catch me afterwards. I'll tell you the Viking story. Along with all of my friends up here, I attended the FY 2026 budget public hearing the other night. As always, it's good to hear from our citizens, from representatives of different groups, advocates, and more about their requests and what they thought of the budget. And I know that my colleagues and myself always take into account what is shared with us in the overall decision-making process. And I'm very much looking forward to next week when we continue on with our last couple of budget meetings. And last but not least, I'm going to single out Mayor Neil Roop, who is in the audience with us today from New Windsor. As everybody knows, he will be retiring as mayor of New Windsor after a long and very illustrious and very productive career. He's a good man. He's been a phenomenal mayor, and he's been a very, very good friend. And as everybody up here knows, and maybe not everybody in the audience knows, Neil was my assistant soccer coach when I was a kid. And, there's still, I know I say this all the time, there's still a tone of voice that if he gets, I automatically think I got to start running laps, that I'm in trouble for something.
Did the tone of voice include frustration or praise?
Oh, it was frustration. If you were running laps, you were in trouble.
If it'll get him out of the room, can you do it?
And, I really cannot thank Neil enough for the guidance and the friendship over the years and for all of the service that he has provided to New Windsor and beyond. And, I wish you the best, Neil, and you and Sean. I hope you have a wonderful tour of the country in the RV, because I think that's what's coming next, right?
That's the game plan.
Yep.
Awesome.
Well, God bless you, brother, and seriously, thank you for everything.
Thank you for the words.
And, Commissioner, that's all for me this morning.
So now for our other history buff.
Exactly. Good morning. First and foremost, wanted to thank everyone for coming out to the budget meeting on Tuesday. Truly appreciate all the comments and thoughts from the community. Obviously, we've been receiving them via email as well as in person, but always very important and very appreciated that we hear from you, the people in the community. Secondly, wanted to mention that this is National Nurses Week. Wanted to give a heartfelt thank you to all the nurses. Truly celebrate and recognize their contributions and sacrifices. Really, truly appreciate the hard work and demonstration of compassion that they all have in and around our community. Without them, we would be in an exceptionally difficult place. And as we all know, nursing is an area where we need many people in those positions these days, and truly grateful for all those that are following in that career path. On Saturday, I attended the Historical Society's Legacy Gala. It was a good event at Antrim. As always, a lot of good conversation. We did have a living Statue of Liberty, which was quite interesting. She was walking around on stilts, and I don't know how she pulled that off, but she did it quite gracefully. Always good to see our nonprofits holding events and the community coming together to support those. And last but certainly not least, wanted to say thank you to the Sheriff's Office for the invitation yesterday for the Sheriff Office Cookout. It was a nice event. Got to interact with a number of the individuals in law enforcement and the State's Attorney's Office. And as always, just a great day to be outside for a little bit and interact. And thank you. That's all for me.
Thank you. Commissioner Garin.
Yeah, good morning, Carroll County. Commissioner Gordon, thank you for bringing up Nurses Week. I thought that was very thoughtful. I've got several in my family. It is a tough job, and we need more of them. So you were absolutely right in what you said about it. Congratulations, Neil, by the way, and thanks for joining us. And again, I want to also mention our budget hearing, our budget meeting we had with the public on Tuesday evening. Thank you for everybody for showing up. It was fairly uneventful, and we got out of there, I think, a little sooner than we had thought. But we were ready to stay, and we were ready to listen. That's exactly what we did. And then lastly, the municipal elections that just took place this week were mentioned. Congratulations to everybody who was victorious. I want to personally congratulate the three down in my neck of the woods, down in Mount Airy, Larry, Steve, and Sean, who will be new to the town council, Sean Kelly. I want to congratulate all three of you on a race well run. The only footnote I'll add about those municipal elections, they're extremely important. But people don't always realize that. The turnout in some of these elections was abysmal. It was in single digits. I was disappointed to see that down in Mount Airy, particularly with all the signs everywhere all over town. I can't just stress enough, these municipal, local, state, county elections, especially the local ones, the county and municipal elections, mean so much, and people really don't always understand how that affects their lives directly. But it does. So I hope that some of these, the folks in some of these towns next go around, pay a little bit more attention to some of the issues and maybe vote. I know it's hard because everybody's working, everybody's trying to make a living, and it's not always easy. But they need to understand how much they really do affect their lives. And if you don't vote, you know, how much right do you have to complain? I think you really got to ask yourself that sometimes. So I just wanted to add that. But congratulations to everybody who was victorious, and we look forward to working with you. And that's all for me.
Thank you, guys. And I always like to start with, I love Carroll County and all of it. The budget hearing, that was great, and some great comments and for and against, and I encourage all of them, well, I thank all of them for being civil and doing positive comments, and I encourage all of them. We have one budget session next Thursday and next Tuesday.
Day afternoon.
And then one the following week. And then, when do we,
Adopt on the 22nd.
the 22nd, we adopt the budget. So follow us and keep voicing your opinions. We appreciate it. Monday, I went to North Carroll Business Night. They at Greenmount Station, they had an evening and a percentage. Greenmount gave a percentage of their income to them, and that's always good. The Citizen Planning Academy was awesome, and it's interesting. It was the people decided to join that academy, and it was a cross-section in age, in what they did for a living. It was a good group, and I'm sure they got a lot out of it. Rhonda and I went to an Oriole game, I think Friday night, and I just want to gloat. They actually won. It was a shutout, and they won. It was a nice game. We went to the agri-breakfast at Career and Tech, which is always a good opportunity. It's fundraising for them, and you just see a lot of Carroll County stop in there for breakfast. The wreath laying that we've already talked about, that was awesome, and we got to talk to the Adjutant General of the National Guard for the state. She was, right?
yeah,
Is that
yep,
the right
yep,
title?
yep.
Yeah. I goofed up the name of the camp. I didn't want to goof up the titles, and there was a lot of people there, and it was very interesting, very formal, and it amazes me, and I mentioned last Thursday we went to a veteran's funeral. That was Marines. This was National Guardsmen, but they are so rigid and perform so well and respectful. It's just awesome. Our veteran celebration was great. We all got wet, but it was still worth it, and 2 years in a row, we've had not nice weather. We need next year to be nice and get back to a bigger crowd there. But it was still a good event and still as much work for the people that put it on. We went to Commissioner Vigliotti's breakfast, and it was great talk. And on everyone's table was a list of accomplishments, and I'm soon gonna need like a spiral notebook or something to keep all those in, but I did take it. as Commissioner Rothstein mentioned, we went to the Governor's Board of Public Works yesterday. They did accept a contract from Clark to demo Pimlico. They talked about that, and then following up with Shamrock Farms. The governor, the treasurer, the comptroller were all very positive about Carroll County. Some other people spoke. They had asked me the day before, I guess, for a quote, and that led to being invited there, and that led to getting to speak for about a minute. So I appreciate that opportunity. It is a great facility for Carroll County. I've been involved with thoroughbreds, been involved with horses since I was born, but thoroughbreds probably since I was 10 or 11. And it's just great to see that industry. This has to be a positive change for the horsemen in Carroll County. Boys and Girls Club has an event, I think, is that tonight?
Tonight, yeah.
Yeah, I think tonight, and
5 or 6
that's
or
always a
something.
great event, and they give awards to the kids, and it amazes me. I mean, everybody knows there's great kids there, and everybody knows they get awards. The kids in the audience are so excited. Every award, I mean, that you'd think they were at the Oscars or something. It's awesome, and it's a great event to go to, and that covers me for today. And thank you for entertaining us. And now, Commissioner Vigliotti wants to take a trip, I think.
I'm thinking about taking a trip. So I have a proclamation for National Travel and Tourism Week, and I'll invite all these young women up to the front of the room. So I will go ahead and read through the proclamation and then turn things over to Denise, Bonnie, and Jane. So proclamation for National Travel and Tourism Week, May 4th through 10th, 2025. Whereas National Travel and Tourism Week, or NTTW, is an annual celebration that underscores travel's essential role in showcasing vibrant communities and propelling our nation's economy. And whereas, established in 1983, NTTW has become a cherished tradition celebrating the U.S. travel community and highlighting how travel stimulates economic growth, creates quality jobs, inspires new businesses, and elevates the quality of life for Americans every day. And whereas the travel industry is connected to every community and business and will continue to be a critical part of Carroll County's economy, development, and workforce, in Carroll, tourism sales in 2023 increased to $140 million with sales and use tax collecting over $4.8 million. And whereas tourism supports vibrant, safe, and economically successful communities across Maryland by generating $31.4 billion in total economic impact with 45.1 million total visitors in 2023. Visitor spending was $20.5 billion and $2.4 billion in state and local taxes were generated. Job creation equaled 190,660 with total related labor income of $10.1 billion. And whereas nationally, travel is one of America's most powerful economic engines, supporting 15 million jobs, generating $2.9 trillion in economic output and funding essential to public services. It strengthens every sector of the economy, from restaurants and retail to tech, manufacturing, and agriculture. And whereas growing America's travel industry allows the U.S. to be globally competitive for international business and leisure travelers. Increasing travel to and within the United States drives our economy to a more prosperous future and connects America worldwide. And whereas travel is an essential industry, and we must continue to communicate that growing travel leads to economic growth, benefits businesses, fosters mutual understanding, and connects to the nation and the world. Now, therefore, we, the Board of Carroll County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim May 4th through 10th, 2025 as National Travel and Tourism Week, and urge the citizens of Carroll County to join us in recognizing the essential role this industry plays in our county and the state of Maryland. Adopted this 8th day of May 2025, signed all 5 county commissioners. Ladies, all yours.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Vigliotti. Denise Beaver, Director of Economic Development. I have with me Bonnie Staub, who's our tourism manager, and Jane Soul, who is the manager of the Carroll County Farm Museum, one of our jewels here in Carroll County. We're happy to be here to support and recognize National Travel and Tourism Week. As you mentioned in the proclamation, it's very important to Carroll County as well as the state and the nation. And we celebrate and we promote a lot of events that we have here in Carroll. It's very important for our Main Street communities and our businesses here in Carroll, and we encourage that. So we promote a lot of events. On yesterday, we were able to meet with Maryland Tourism Coalition's initiative, Maryland in a Day, and they selected Westminster as one of the communities to visit, featuring old Main Street byways, street byways throughout the state. And so they had a pit stop here in Locust Lane in Westminster during an approaching rainstorm. And so we were able to meet with them and representatives from the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development and to feature that. And it was a Facebook Live event where we were able to showcase Westminster. Melissa Thorne, who is with the City of Westminster, was there along with Councilman Dayhoff. And so they were able to talk about a lot of the wonderful activities and strolls that Westminster has and, you know, the upcoming Flower and Jazz Festival on Saturday. So all of these events are very important for us to showcase. And so that was great. That was one of the things that we were included in. And we're doing a very unique thing this year with the travel and tourism industry. We haven't done this before, but we're showcasing all the museums that are in each of our communities. So I'll have Bonnie talk a little bit more about that. That's a new thing, and I think it's another way that we can encourage both local citizens as well as other visitors from out the region to come to Carroll County and see what we have to offer.
Okay, good morning, Commissioners, and thank you again for recognizing National Tourism and Travel Week. I really appreciate that and appreciate the proclamation. Like Denise was saying, we decided to highlight our museums in all the 8 municipalities. So we reached out to them, asked them a few questions about their museum, trying to get people more involved with going to the museums. I know I'm a docent at the Tonytown Museum, and I know we struggle terribly getting people to try to come to visit. And the volunteers there put in so much effort and planning into doing the exhibits there. So I know it is a lot of work that goes into those exhibits. So we were hoping that this will maybe bring people more aware of what they can go see at the different museums and all the municipalities. And we posted it on the website, and we also put that on Facebook. Brian put together a very good presentation, and it highlighted each one of the museums. So we're looking forward to getting more visitors for our museums. So.
And obviously, the Carroll County Farm Museum is one of those that's highlighted. And as I said, you know, one of our wonderful attractions here in Westminster with lots of great activities and community involvement. So Jane is here to represent the Carroll County Farm Museum.
Thank you, and thank you to all of you who came out on Sunday. I'm sorry, Commissioner Kyler, you put me in charge of weather, and I failed this year. I'll try to do better next year. It was a great event. We love having it there. We like to showcase the Farm Museum. I think it's a fabulous place, 143 acres. We had last year approximately 80,000 visitors. We've had a lot already. We had a big Commissioner Vigliotti group from Tawnytown Elementary School yesterday. They had a wonderful time. And as they leave, I ask them, what did you like the best? I got 2 answers yesterday from the ones who spoke up. One said the almshouse, which really took me by surprise, which I thought was wonderful, and congratulations to the tour guide I had there. And the other was the oxen, Jack and Jim, and they continue to be really the ambassadors of the Farm Museum. So, thank you, and you know, we're proud of the Farm Museum. My staff does a great job of maintaining the grounds, and we love having visitors.
Of course, our visitor center now is located at the Farm Museum, so we're hoping more people will come to the Farm Museum as well to our visitor center. So that's a nice little place we have out there. So
Well, thank you to all three of you for the incredible work that you do for our county through tourism. And Sunday at the Veteran Celebration, interestingly enough, I met a lot of good people, including two veterans who I got caught under a canopy with, and they were, when it was raining, and it was very, they were very fascinated by the Farm Museum and the idea of the Farm Museum and what was going on. And the one gentleman in particular was really, really fascinated with it and wants to come back and do a tour and everything. So even having an event at a place like the Farm Museum
Right.
generates additional tourism. So.
It does. Thank you.
That's true.
And you mentioned website, Facebook, and the office, but so if I'm new to Carroll County and I want to learn more about it, I can check website, Facebook, but I can go to the tourism office, which for a year maybe, it's been at the Farm Museum, and you can check out the Farm Museum at the same time. So, and you've got lots of information there, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yep.
Well, it goes without saying, but I'll say it. I truly appreciate all the hard work that all of you do in the community, and I think it's wonderful we're covering all the museums that we have, because we have so much rich local history, be it tying into Baltimore, D.C., Philly, Gettysburg. So there's a lot to learn and there's a lot to see. And I guess it was about 10 years ago I met a family that had moved here from Colorado. So what's the first thing they did? They went to all the historical museums in Carroll County because they wanted to know where they had moved to. So obviously something very important, not only to those moving in, but those that live here. So appreciate all the hard work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, ladies, for all you're doing, and we really seem to be ramping up things, and the Farm Museum is doing fantastic, so thanks, Jane, for what you do. Some of the museums around the county, particularly in the towns, are really great. I mean, I can speak to the one in Mount Airy. They've got trains there. They've got all kinds of artifacts. That's right downtown on the old railroad track, and there's a train across the street to go look into as well. So hopefully people take advantage of that this summer when it gets a little warmer.
Mm-hmm. The one in Tawnytown, they change their exhibit every year, so that makes it very interesting as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of work too, but that's nice.
Yeah, it's been said. I think the only thing I would say is think about how you can use us more to promote tourism and promote opportunities, whether it's, taking us through areas, which, you've done collectively, and I'm always impressed. For us to write something, to do something, to highlight our community, to go to another area. I mean, kind of what Commissioner Gordon said, there's so much that, puts us together, brings us together. It's not about one municipality or another, it's about all of us. And, there's lots of opportunity. I'm glad to hear about field trips, because I was gonna ask that about field trips. I remember being young and going on field trips. I don't know if they do them as much nowadays, but, the partnership with CCPS, is it good? Can it be better? How can it be better? What can we do to promote it? And anything like that, or with the libraries, same thing. Just kind of think about that. And, we're one of your resources to promote tourism, It's time, people, and money, and, you got the people up here. We just need to kind of navigate which way to go, how you believe we should promote opportunities. Again, it's not about one place or another, it's about all of Carroll County, which is just amazing. So we know that, you know that. Now we just have to figure out how to continue to market that, So, but thank you for all you do.
And to me, that some of these guys' comments leads to another question. Where do you get funding? What funds the tourism in the office in Carroll County? And I know it's a lot of volunteers and it might be some donations, but it's other funding you get also, correct?
Yeah, I think, I know in Tawnytown, they have a very good group that they work with, and a lot of funds come from private donations there. And of course, we have a little box there that we can put your donation in when you come to visit as well. So, that all helps.
We want to do a picture,
Yeah, let's do it.
photo?
Thank you again.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. These three roses amongst us thorns? Absolutely.
I don't know, I guess there's room.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
I'm glad you asked about that, because we get that too.
Every day, but still, it's.
Well, we put all that information on there.
Thank you, ladies.
Yep, thank you.
You could sit there if you want. No, I mean,
If I wear his tie, would anybody notice?
it's,
The mustache might give you away.
Oh, okay, sorry.
not the age or the weight, just the mustache.
I looked at all the written notes and thought, I'm not at the right seat. Okay, now Baltimore Gas and Electric's gonna give us a presentation and an update. Sorry, we don't have a proclamation for you, but come on up and share with us.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Set this up. Take my glasses off. All right. Full screen. So good morning, Commissioners,
Good morning.
County Administrator, County Attorney. My name is Chanel Rhodes Reed. I am the External Affairs Manager for Carroll County. And today, first, I just want to start off by saying thank you all for inviting us here today. I did meet a couple of you last year in Mako, but this is my first time in Carroll County, so I'm excited to be here. I just want to extend a thank you for allowing us to come in to talk about our upcoming project. But not only that, but to also share some beneficial information that's beneficial not only to the county, but to the customers in Carroll County as well.
And a lot of people probably don't know it, but we do have a contact with BGE
Yes.
when we have needs and have questions,
do.
and it's been good for us. So thank you.
And you're very welcome, and that's great to hear. So I just want to start off with a high-level overview of how we started and where we are. So BGE, we started in 1816. We were founded. We are the oldest gas company in the United States. We started off as the gas company, the Gas Light Company of Baltimore. That was in 1816. But since our inception, we have always been an innovative company. We were the first company to illuminate street lights with gas. We then introduced electric into our company in the early 1900s, which prompted us to change our name in 1955 to Baltimore Gas and Electric Company. And then in 2000, we became a part of Constellation, and then 2012, Constellation merged with Exelon, hence giving us the current name BGE and Exelon Company. We currently serve approximately 2 million customers in Central Maryland, 1.3 million electric customers, and approximately 700,000 gas customers. So when you drill down to Carroll County, as you can see, we have approximately 60,000 customers in Carroll County, approximately 43,000 electric, and 17,000 gas. So I want to talk a little bit more about my role. Again, my name is Chanel Rhodes Reed. I am the External Affairs Manager for Carroll County. And as you can see, my key responsibilities on the screen, but to really drill it down, I like to think of myself as a people connector and relationship builder. That's why I'm here. My goal is to share important information with the county elected officials in Carroll County, whether it's important information about our projects, programs, also special initiatives. My goal is to be there for you, be the single point of contact. When you do have any type of constituent issues, you would reach out to me. However, I do have a partner in crime internally. I work very closely with large account services, and my internal partner is Stephanie. She is the manager for the county accounts. So you will reach out to her if you have questions relating to your billing, if you want to get information on energy efficiency programs, if you want to extend any type of infrastructure within your building, you will reach out to Stephanie Graver for that. Again, going back to my role, again, as I stated, I am a people connector and a relationship builder. So I am relatively new to Carroll County. I acquired this role last year. I'm not new to the position. I've been in the position now for quite some time. And again, two things I really love about my job is connecting people and building relationships. So one thing I wanted to do in Carroll County is foster those relationships. And one way I was able to do that, and I'm currently doing that, is by offering quarterly meetings with the elected officials within Carroll County. We meet once a quarter. We started this the fourth quarter of last year, and we are seeing great benefits in that, because that is our time to share with you all our projects, our initiatives, but really it gives Carroll County elected officials an opportunity to share their concerns with us. And if you want to share compliments with us, that would be the time to do that. So we have set it up where obviously we meet once a quarter. We have 2 virtual meetings, but we also have 2 in-person meetings. And the purpose of that is, again, to continue to put a face to a name and to build out that relationship. So next I want to talk about some ways that we continue to build our relationships is sharing information about certain grants that we offer, and there's 2 of them that I want to speak of today. So one that is currently open right now is the BGE Energizing Small Business Grant. These are grants that we award to small businesses within our territory. The small businesses receive $20,000 in the grant money to grow their business. This is a partnership with BGE Hello Alice Global Entrepreneurship Network. Obviously, there are certain requirements you must meet to be eligible to receive the grant. You have to be a for-profit business operating at least 1 year. Obviously, you have to be a BGE customer, whether it's electric or gas or both, in good standings. Also, you have to have at least 25 or fewer full-time employees. And your gross annual revenue has to be under $7 million. And you also have to demonstrate the need for funding to sustain operations or serve customers. So right now, the grant is still open. I did cascade this information out when the enrollment first started. So I am hoping you're sharing that with your constituents and your small businesses so they have an opportunity to receive that $20,000. The deadline is June 13th. And after this meeting, I will send that information out to you again so you can share with your small businesses.
How many grants are distributed?
To date, it varies from month to month. So to your question, let's talk about how these grants have impacted Carroll County. Since the inception of 2021, we have awarded 27 recipients just within Carroll County, and that's a total of $540,000. And as you can see, the industries are very diverse. It's across the board. I'm not sure specifically, but I can get that information to you, how many grants are awarded every year.
And the reason, I mean, the competitiveness of these grants. I mean, we have a lot of small businesses in our county. We have a lot of small businesses on the main streets and municipalities. What is the competitiveness to getting these type of grants?
So we do have a board that review all the applicants, the applications that they receive. It is a specific criteria. Again, if you go back to the eligibility, that's the starting point, but then it is reviewed. That is reviewed by our economic development team. So I can get you more information, detailed information on how that process is finalized.
I mean, I think more importantly, definitely than me, ensure that our economic team has that information.
Yes.
Imagine they do, but I think if we want to highlight these opportunities and get them out there, the more our economic development team and our Chamber of Commerce and other entities that deal predominantly with small businesses, our Main Streets nonprofits that deal with small businesses, those would be the type of folks I would
Want to
ask
share
that
the
you reach out
information.
to.
Yeah, and we have. So when this opportunity comes up, or when the program is open every year, I do share with the chamber. I'm actually a member of the chamber. We do cascade it out to all the key stakeholders to share
Okay.
within the county.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So then finally, another grant I would like to talk about today is the Community Safety Grant. The applications are now open. We're still receiving applications for this grant. So at BGE, safety is our core value, right? Guiding how we serve our employees, our customers in the community. So we are proud to support projects that foster safe and vibrant environments, support emotional well-being, enhance disaster preparedness and resilience. So the grants range from $2,500 to $10,000. You can apply by May 16th, so you still have a little over a week or less than a week to over a week to apply. The grant period is from June 25th to June 26th. And I can, again, send this information out again, and I have cascaded it out to the key stakeholders within Carroll County. So with my portion of the presentation, I really just want to stress that overall, BGE's goal is to increase our footprint, not our carbon footprint, right? But our presence in the communities that we serve. So by attending open sessions like this, creating the quarterly meetings, getting information out about our projects is really helping us to do that. So next in our presentation, I want to pass it over to our project management team, and they're going to share information with you about our upcoming project, the Finksburg to Westminster transmission line rebuild. So I'm going to pass it over to Kyle.
Hey, good morning again. Great to be here. Thank you guys for the opportunity, first and foremost. My name is Kyle Edmonds. I am the senior project manager for the Finksburg to Westminster project, which will be constructed in the Carroll County area. To my right here is Ben Farmasino. He is the senior engineer for the project. We're just glad to be here to talk to you about what we have going on. So next slide here. Thank you, Chanel. So as you guys know, you may not actually know, the line that is currently installed was constructed in 1990. That's pretty much over 30 years ago. And if you go outside right now, you can see all these lines up and they look really damaged, right? With corrective maintenance issues, pretty much going from wood pole damage, different types of streaming access, and also steel degradation. So in particular, it's certain areas where you have a railroad and a stream that is pretty much landlocked, which makes it difficult for us to access these areas on the actual job site itself. You go to the next slide. So there are some photos of like existing, pretty much just issues on the line itself. As you can see, there's a creek, existing railroads, very dense vegetation, and also right-of-way challenges. And it's difficult for us to, pretty much bring out big trucks on the job sites to maintain these issues on the job. So we have to pretty much go about a different way or different route to access these areas, and we cannot pretty much maintain these poles. So I just wanted to show you some more photos of what these poles look like. As you can see, there's a lot of wood peck damage on these photos from birds and stuff like that. And there's a lot of just erosion and sediment issues near like some of the steel poles itself that attributes to also much difficult access to pretty much get to these pole lines. The next slides you'll see here are pretty much our proposed project details and also the proposed pathway. And I'll hand it over to Ben to discuss those elements.
Thanks, Kyle. Good morning. Yes, my name is Ben Formisano. I'm a senior engineer with Baltimore Gas and Electric in our transmission engineering department. So to remediate the issues that we're seeing on this line, what we are proposing is a new underground transmission line that goes from the Finksburg area up here to Westminster Substation along Route 140. It's about a 9-mile distance. It will all be within the road right-of-way, and we're using our existing kind of standard technology for this transmission level voltage to go along the roadway. What this is going to do is address reliability and resiliency concerns up in the area here. This Westminster substation is what's known as a radial feed, so it's not really networked within the rest of the transmission system, which means that this transmission line that'll come up 140 is very integral for maintaining reliable electric service up to this area. Here you can see the proposed project path, which is the dark gray line that follows Route 140 from the Finksburg area up here to Westminster.
And while you're on the route, and I apologize if you're going to talk about this, one of the things that's exciting to me about this, there was talk, I don't know, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, that this might run closer to the existing route, which meant it would have crossed ag, it would have crossed people's property. You guys met with some of the prior commissioners, you met with landowners, and you made the decision to come up 140. And I just think that's awesome that you actually listened to the residents, and come up with a plan. So I thank you for that.
Don't look surprised. That's a good, You're like, shit, what's he gonna say? No, this is good.
That's why we're here.
Absolutely.
So some of the next steps in this project, first is a filing of a CPCN waiver, which is with the Public Service Commission of the State of Maryland, the Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity. This project does comply with their waiver requirement because it's an underground transmission line. We're filing that very soon here at the end of the quarter. Then we will follow up with permit applications, coordination with state and local agencies, and then started construction in 2027. Of course, like while we're here today, we want to have continuous engagement with the commission and then with the local community, with all the residents, all the customers, anyone who might be impacted by this project.
Couple quick questions. One is, just to make sure we're all understanding, your quarters are calendar year quarters, or are they fiscal? I mean, is it? So it's January through March
December.
is Q1?
Quarter, yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
And then the disruption between 27 and 30, will there be disruption on 140 while this is being built? I mean, and you have flaggers and all that. I mean, that's, you know, the big challenge. I mean, yes, it's state highway, but it's coming right through our community to ensure that we have the awareness of the disruption ahead of time, and we can prepare the community saying, yeah, this is gonna be a tough area over the next however much time. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, so there will be construction along the roadway. What we're doing in the planning stage right now is we're making sure that we are staying in the shoulder area or the median as much as we can. We're planning our manhole locations for the underground splicing so that we're not disrupting any businesses, any homes that are along 140. And then we're, of course, going to have lots of public outreach.
Right.
There's a project website, and then lots of scheduling, and everyone will be very aware of when and where construction activities are starting.
We have,
Yes.
no, that's great, and we have a great relationship, you know, between our Public Works team for the roads and our state highway. You know, we're in District 7, so our engineer, Andrew Radcliffe, is wonderful in working with us. If you haven't had that opportunity to meet with him, and I expect you will, that you all come together and say, here's the plan. And we all have an understanding of this disruption, so.
Yeah, and I can just add to Ben's point about the website and everything. It is active. We try to keep it up to date as much as possible. We can definitely share the link with you guys if you want to check it out. We work with our outreach consultant as well every month, actually, just to pretty much update the community. We also want to send out quarterly letters to let them know what's going on in the project. So we're also just making sure that we stay engaged with the community as well. Just wanted to share that.
No, I appreciate it, and just guarantee that nobody's gonna pay attention until there's a shovel in the ground. And then they're gonna say, why didn't I know about this? And it's not because, you know, we have a uneducated community, it's because they have priorities that they're doing in maintaining their businesses, their homes, you know, everything that, you know, is happening. So the expectations, and I appreciate websites, and they may be most up to date, but if people don't go to them, it's, you know.
Right, so in addition to that, we will hold community meetings as well, and we always send out notices prior to any work that may impact our stakeholders. So we send the letters out, and we also have community meetings within the vicinity where the
That's
project
great.
is.
Okay,
Yes.
thanks.
And just to speak to one of the items you mentioned, the Department of Public Works. Actually, through the quarterly meetings that Chanel's puts on, I already identified a potential usage conflict where the landfill,
EA project?
where the landfill work is going on. So we already, well ahead of time, identified something where we can move some of our facilities so that we don't have any, future traffic disruptions.
Yeah, we actually met with the team yesterday via virtually just to figure out what the project specifics were, when they plan on doing construction and also design. So we've already been communicating with those guys as well, just to give you an update on that.
Oh, that's great.
And what is the overall timeframe? I mean, it says you want to start of construction in 2027. Is 2030 when you want to have the project completed by, or beyond?
Yeah, so currently we're in design phase, of course. So between now and 2026, we'll be focused on locking in the design and doing material procurement. We plan to start construction in Q1 of 2027, and then we'll be done mid-2030 to pretty much be done with the project.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, I think we already answered the questions and had the comment section. If there are no other questions, once again, I just want to thank you all for allowing us to come in to share our upcoming project as well as our special programs. And once again, I will send that information out to you all again so you can cascade it out to your stakeholders.
I want to say thank you for taking the time to come in to talk to us, and also to the community again, because, we're streaming live now, and people have the ability to watch this again later. And it's not something that, a lot of companies always do, make this effort, and especially in this county right now with the other transmission line that's being proposed. I mean, that has been so mishandled, and our citizens have really borne the brunt of this company's, carelessness and honestly cruelty, And so for what you're doing here, being open, transparent, coming before, public session, I mean, I really, like Commissioner Kyler, I cannot commend you enough for doing this, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
I
Thank you.
have a few more questions, if you don't mind. Because of the transmission line, like Commissioner Rothstein said, people are busy. They don't always focus on something until it really, really affects them. But we've heard so much that Maryland imports 40% of their electrical needs. And of course, we've heard that BGE's going to raise rates, maybe has. When you give us a link for this kind of stuff, can you give us a link for where do people go? And I know you put it in, it's in with the bill. There's another mailing, I think, comes once a month, but it's like Commissioner Rothstein said, till somebody has a problem, they throw all that in the trash. So if you could give us some links for that, and maybe think about the next time we get together, talk about what BGE's doing to produce some energy in Maryland to avoid us importing it all. And I know, gotta be tactful, you guys don't control the state regulations for production or transmission in Maryland, and we're a very, very, very strict state, which makes costs go up. One of the things we've heard through these transmission lines is they may import energy from Missouri because they make it cheaper. Well, they make it cheaper because they don't have the regulations we have. Back off on our regulations, BGE can make it cheaper also. And then one of the rumors, and I don't know that for sure that it's true, is that BGE or an entity related owns half of Peach Bottom, and that PSEG owes the other half, and I don't know if that's true. I'd love to hear an answer on that. And I know none of that's what you came today to prepare to speak about, but if you could get us answers on that and maybe think about the next time we meet, some of the information we need. And like I said earlier, the communication on this started with commissioners before us, and it's been great communication on this project. And I've had constituents have some needs, and I've reached out to you or your predecessor, and I've always gotten answers. I wasn't always thrilled with the answers, but I got answers.
But we were responsive.
Yes. So thank you very much.
You're
Guys,
welcome.
anything else?
No, just thank you for the updated information. Do truly appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we will follow up. So thank you all. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Take care.
Have a good day.
Good info. Now we will talk about the Consolidated Transportation Plan. And during our moment of silence, I do pray for focus. Sometimes it works and some days it doesn't. I apologize.
Good morning to both of you.
We are here today for what should be just a few minutes. We were here a few weeks ago to talk to you about this letter, which is due to the Secretary of Transportation on May 16th. It's our annual letter that outlines your priorities for the coming fiscal year. There were very few changes from the previous year. There was 5 capacity-enhancing projects, the same 2 streetscapes, and 1 trail project. We also added a request for a study of 140 to get that started. And did we add anything? I think that was the only addition, the only major addition. Since we brought the letter to you last time, we've just cleaned it up a little bit. And if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
I'll make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2026 CTP County Priority Letter.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
We did highlight Daphne Andrews' work with the class.
Citizens
And,
Planning Academy,
yeah,
yes.
he did a great job.
He certainly did. Thank you.
Yeah, so, yep.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Thanks, you too.
Thanks.
You can stay
Now we're
longer
going
next
to
time.
talk about approval to transfer annual housing bond allocation.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning,
Morning.
everybody.
I'm Celine Steckel, as you know, the Director of Citizen Services, and I'm here this morning with Danielle Yates, our Bureau Chief of Housing and Community Connections, and Paul Moffett, our Manager of our Housing Division. So we're here, as you noted, we are seeking approval to authorize our annual bond transfer. This year it's $8,082,000 to the State Department of Housing and Community Development and their Maryland Mortgage Program. DHCD administers this program on behalf of Carroll County. And this is a very powerful tool that we have in our affordable housing toolkit, and it gives a lot of opportunities to people who are seeking home ownership. Danielle's going to share some of the details of the program, which also includes the statistics on the utilization of this program here in Carroll County, and I'll turn it over to you now.
Sure. Good morning, Commissioners. So we'd like to start with some statistics on the program and the benefits that it has. So since 2020, we have had 152 households participate in the Maryland Mortgage Program. They utilized $42,511,096 in total. So far this year, for 2025, we have had 23 participants utilizing $7,247,046 as well. With the Maryland Mortgage Program, they offer various advantages to our first-time home buyers, such as fixed low interest rate loans, down payment and closing assistance provided in the form of either a grant or deferred no interest loan, a partner match program where home buyers can qualify for up to $2,500 in matching funds, and there is a payback at the end of the loan at 0% interest as well. There are over 100 qualified lenders that participate in this program, and there are a few requirements to becoming a participant as well. They include the home must be the primary residence in which the home buyer will live. The home buyer must complete a home buyer education course prior. The home buyer must be 18 years of age and a legal U.S. citizen. The household must meet the program income requirements. They must be, of course, a first-time home buyer, and the home must be purchased in the state of Maryland. Would you have any other additional questions that we can answer for you at this time?
The home in Maryland, not in Carroll County?
So what it is it's in Maryland in total. So Carroll County gets a designated amount of funding. So of course, if we would utilize all that, there's additional funding in the pot we can use. But it can be anywhere throughout the state of Maryland. What would happen is we defer them to the other county for that home purchase.
Are we using as much money as we could?
We have used all the funding that we have received in the past 4 years.
Can we ask for more?
We actually have gone over, yes.
Okay.
And I can send you the rates that we get from Maryland that show us every year what we've actually used.
Wow. Okay.
And then, just for your reference, Paul's going to provide you each with one of the toolkits that they have online so people can better understand the program. That's new this year, this additional resource for folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And how many participants again as of 2025?
So far in 2025, we've had 23 participants and $7,247,046. And that was as of February when the letter was received from the state of Maryland, DHCD.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the authorization of $8,082,028 in bond allocation to the state DHCD's Maryland Mortgage Program on behalf of Carroll County and sign the statement of conditions for participation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're going to hear about approval of resolution, New Windsor and Winfield Community Volunteer Fire Companies loan request and resolution adoption.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone.
Morning, and I'd like to introduce from New Windsor, their apparatus chair, Tom Coe, who in his spare time is the fire chief of Frederick County, and Carl Broussard, the president of Winfield, and Austin Johnstone, the fire chief of Winfield. And I think we have some other members here to support from New Windsor.
Good morning, Commissioners. As Mr. Robertson, although I say Chief Robinson, sorry, has mentioned, we have representatives from both fire companies, Winfield and New Windsor. We've received loan applications from both fire companies. New Windsor is looking to borrow $1 million to purchase a Seagrave fire engine. And then Winfield is requesting a loan for $700,000 to purchase a 24 Peterbilt 4-guys tank. And if you need more detail on those pieces of equipment, that's why we have the experts here. 'Cause I don't know what, they might be red color, I don't know. This is part of the low-interest loan program that the county has right at the moment, and what we do is then we go out and use our general obligation to issue bonds to support this. So it would be a pass-through from the county to the fire companies, and then the fire companies make payments directly to us for that loan. So we currently have a few, they both currently have loans on the books. They are up to date with those, no problems, no issues with that. So if you have any questions, we're asking you to approve the loan request, as well as then there's a resolution to reimburse. It's an intent to reimburse us using bond authority to do that.
Why are we combining these in one action and not separating? I mean,
You are gonna do two different actions
oh,
for that.
are we? Okay.
I'm gonna ask you for two different, because I
Okay.
have two different resolutions
Yeah,
for that.
okay,
Yes.
thank you. And then, yeah, so I appreciate that. Then the other is, are there expectations for other fire departments to be requesting bonds for apparatus?
Yes, we have several, but we're not bringing them to the forefront because they've expressed interest at this point, but I don't know that Jenny has any other additional applications currently.
We don't have any additional applications at this point, and also, I've been asked to kind of review the loan application process, and we're working on that right now, which will come to before the five of you for your approval for that loan application process. I know the state of Maryland has changed some of the way they've done their loan process, and we're looking to kind of review that and see what we can do to help with that.
Yep.
What is the purchase price of each item, and how much are the individual fire companies contributing to that?
I will defer that to the fire companies.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Coe, 303 College Avenue in New Windsor, here representing the New Windsor Volunteer Fire Company. The purchase price of our fire engine is actually $1.3 million. The apparatus prices have escalated significantly since the COVID pandemic, but we do plan on only asking, or only ask us for $1 million of that 1.3.
And while you're there, what's the delivery on something like this? And are you okay in the meantime?
Yes, so great question. The delivery time on our apparatus from contract signing is actually 1,300 days, so 3.5 years. Yeah, and our fire department's strategically doing some prepayment discount. So by starting the payment of that apparatus now, understanding that we're not getting the apparatus until mid-2028, will allow us to bring the price of that unit down and allow us to bring it home cheaper.
And this is a new unit?
Yes, sir. The unit that it's replacing is a 2006 Seagrave, so it's 19 years old. We don't expect, obviously, the new one in for about 3 more years, so it'll be about 22 years old when it's replaced. And even today, we're struggling to find repair parts
Yeah.
for the unit that's being replaced.
And that has to be an issue. All the volunteer companies maintain things so well, but when you get too dated, you can't get parts. You can't get repair stuff done, and that ties your hands.
Yes, sir. And this,
So it's not that you haven't taken good care of this, it's of its age.
this unit has served the citizens of Carroll County very proudly and well, but it is time to work on its replacement. And we just appreciate your consideration on this, a very important program that helps support our volunteer fire companies.
Chief, just one other thing. In your consideration to doing this, did you consider purchasing a used piece of apparatus from somewhere else?
Yeah, we've considered all options on the table, and we have a replacement plan at New Windsor that a piece of apparatus lasts at least 20 years. We have 2 engine companies or fire engines.
Yep.
Their replacement's offset by 10 years for financial planning for the company so that we can sustain the purchase of these capital assets on behalf of our fire service.
Right.
So we did look at used apparatus, but our concern with that is the backup that causes when you have to replace that unit in a shorter lifespan.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
And so Jenny, you want these in 2 separate, all right, so
Please.
I'd like to make a motion then to approve the loan request of $1 million by New Windsor Community Volunteer Fire Company and adoption of the resolution declaring the county's intent to reimburse expenditures with debt proceeds.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
And you, Winfield?
What's that?
Who wants to do Winfield?
And you've got the president of the Winfield Fire Company to answer the questions.
Yeah,
I
was gonna
imagine it's
say
sort of
that
the same
give
situation.
Same answers
Yeah.
for that.
But any questions you have for him, he's there to answer them.
Basically, we are replacing a 2001 tanker. We have the delivery date as of right now is probably going to be June the 6th. So our apparatus is actually in production. We also chose to purchase the chassis for a lower discount. And as of this time, we're projecting right now $724,000.
So,
Yes.
the delivery you said is in June?
Yes, sir.
So was this purchased, I mean, why is it such a short delivery date? I mean, that's great, I just.
Yes. So
you know.
because of the supply and demand,
Yeah.
Winfield chose to go ahead and, with Chief Robinson's approval, to go ahead with the process. And then we chose to pay for the chassis up front. That way it was a little bit faster process. And we are planning on, within the next 4 years, replacing an engine. As you can see, it'll be probably 1.3 million.
Yeah. That's great. I mean,
Yes.
great coordination to getting it done, and getting it in your hands that fast.
I move the Board of Commissioners approve the loan request of $700,000 by Winfield Volunteer Fire Company and adoption of the resolutions declaring the county's intent to reimburse expenditures with debt proceeds.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks, Chief. Appreciate it.
Have a good day, everybody.
Now we get to talk about the exciting independent financial auditing services. No offense.
I thought you were gonna
I
say.
know it's exciting to you.
I was gonna say, I don't usually get to sit here in the seat more than one topic at a time, so this
No.
is exciting.
Well, good morning again, everybody.
Morning. Stand over here.
We moved your seat around.
It's okay. The Office,
Not gonna be able to do it.
The Office of Procurement, in cooperation with the Department of the Comptroller, requests your approval to purchase independent financial auditing services from Clifton Larson Allen in the amount of $47,855.01. This purchase is for the final auditing services for FY '24. This purchase will be made via a competitively bid term contract that was awarded to Clifton Larson and Allen. The amount is approved in the FY '25 adopted budget.
1 cent.
1 cent. Remember, we're the accountants here.
Right. I was gonna say, that's very specific.
We are very detail oriented.
You've been called worse.
I know. So good morning again, Commissioners. We are here to request the approval of county funds for Clifton Larson Allen additional funds for the single audit. So as you know, we're required to do a audit. This is actually, part of that audit is the single audit that's required by the federal government on all of our federal funded grants. When I say all of them, they set a rotation of these grants and they set a threshold dollar that requires the auditors to review them. At the time we went out to bid, we usually did an average of 3 programs, and with the additional grants that have been, we've received, there were additional programs, which this year we had 4 major programs, and that's what the additional funding for this audit review is for. The amount that they, like I said, the IRS, or the federal government sets a $750,000 threshold. That threshold is expected to go up for years after October 1st, 24 to $1 million. So hopefully we can not have this issue, but I guess it depends. It really depends on how many grants we accept that are above that. With that said, I'll turn it over if Bobby Joe Fout, the Bureau Chief of Accounting, is here, and if, I don't know if you
I
have anything
apologize,
else.
real quick. You said October what? It'll go up when?
October 1st of 24, so any fiscal year that starts after that. So it won't be for fiscal, we could be back here again next year for fiscal year 25. Our fiscal year 26 is when it would actually increase to $1 million.
If that doesn't sound confusing.
I know,
I mean,
because it's on federal fiscal year and not our fiscal year. They increase the amount.
I'm just gonna
Just go with it.
just go
We'll
with
just-
it for this second. I mean,
We'll just plan on seeing you next year at this time, and
You threw 24, 25, and 26 at us. Like,
yep,
this is for what?
fiscal year 24.
This is for fiscal year 24.
Yep.
And just briefly, the process. So they do give recommendations, they do give comments, they possibly could find something wrong. During the process, do you reply to the recommendations and any problems? And so when the process is done, most of that's been corrected, or how's that work?
Do you want to answer?
Yes, and then that's published on our, the CFA is published on our website, and it is on there. So soon as they finalized the FY24 ACFR and the single audit and the CFA, that is published on our website. So that's open for everyone to view.
Okay.
And the single audit, which is the CFA, it's a scheduled expenditures, we aren't required to file that until March 31st. So we have like 3 months longer for that. That's why this is, we never get done being audited, basically.
Gotcha.
Because we've actually started preliminary for 25 already, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of independent financial auditing services from Clifton Larson Allen in the amount of $47,855.01.
Second.
Any further questions or comments? I'm surprised you didn't round it off. You kept the 1 cent in there.
I thought about maybe 1.5 cents, but how would you balance half a cent?
We are
Same way
dealing
you
with the
have a half a
financial
sandwich.
people. Yep. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're going to talk to IT about Court Smart Server upgrade.
Good morning.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
The Office of Procurement, in cooperation with the Department of Technology Services, requests your approval to purchase server upgrades at the annex and historic buildings for the existing Court Smart system from Court Smart Digital Systems in the amount of $55,265. This amount is approved in the FY25 budget.
Okay, what this is not this is not the software licensing. This is the hardware that the software runs on for these. Obviously, by the title, CourtSmart, extremely important to the court system, records all of the hearings and everything, and it's time for that equipment to be replaced. I think it's about 5.5, 6 years old, the equipment we currently have, and it's normal scheduled.
Motion to approve the purchase of server upgrades at the annex and historic buildings for the existing CourtSmart system from CourtSmart Digital Systems in the amount of $55,265.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Rec and Parks, Piney Run Park paving and site improvements.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
The Office of Procurement and the Department of Recreation and Parks were before the board in 2024 and received approval to award a contract to Superior Facilities Management Services, LLC, to provide paving and site improvements for Piney Run Park in the amount of $160,063.40. We were before the board in April and received additional approval for additional costs in the total amount of $141,638, which increased the total value of the contract to $301,701.40. Since that time, another change order has been requested in the amount of $42,654, which exceeds 10% of the contract amount, and per resolution number 1162-2022, delegation of authority requires the board's approval to spend these additional funds. The amount is approved in the FY25 budget.
So why is there,
When we established the scope of work as well as the budget, we knew that there was going to be a lot of structural deficiencies in the roadways and in the parking lots. And every time we uncover something, we mill a roadway, we find out there's more deficiencies. So we need to add a lot of gravel to the boat trailer parking lot. And again, we anticipated these issues coming up, and the budget has been established based on us realizing that there are deficiencies.
I mean, we started at 160,000, now we're at 340,000.
That is correct.
And so it's mostly been, I can't remember the April thing, but it's mostly been undercutting and extra stone, not adding areas to the
No, we're not
paving.
adding any other impervious surfaces. We're rectifying deficiencies right now is what we're doing.
Are we able to learn from these lessons on how to estimate for other projects? Or is this going to be?
We're right on point right now.
What do you mean?
The budget was established at $360,000.
So why didn't we start with $360,000?
Because until you start uncovering things is when you find out that these issues arise.
So the
Or what-
budget
yeah.
may have allowed for unforeseen extra work, but the original bid didn't include it, and that's why the change orders to the bid. Does that
That
make
is
sense?
correct.
Yeah, so the original bid, is something, and we're staying with the same company, and they're getting double as much what they started off with.
Well, a lot of these bids, if you don't mind, I was on the other side of it.
Yeah.
It might have unit prices, it might
Right.
have T&M work, but unless you estimate quantities, you don't have the total dollars in until you see it. And sometimes, you don't, the surface paving looks okay, and then you cut it off and it's
Right.
pumping and
Right.
it's problems, so.
that was-
So this is more of a contract change order than, you're not asking for more money in the budget.
No, we're just running the budget. The problem is, we had that other paving out there, and then, of course, we see now area cracks, but we didn't know what the undersurface was gonna be or the base. And once you take that asphalt up, and then it was nothing but sand. and there was no base to it. And then when you put the first change orders, put the stone in there, and the problem was it wasn't compacting right, so you had to put additional stone in, and it just keep on
I
compounding.
mean, we can't stop midway through a project. That wouldn't be the smart thing to do. I mean, could we, in the beginning of the project, say, here's what we're requesting, we expect it to go up to whatever we budgeted, $360,000 in the original, request. And this way, you don't have to come back 2-3 times. And it's, it's in your hands. I feel like we piecemeal a project, we keep it to the same vendor. They know they're gonna get $360,000. They're gonna start at $160,000, and it's just gonna continue to grow till they know what's in our budget at 360, and that's what they're gonna get. I just feel like we're going through 2 extra steps in a process where we could
Yeah,
start at one.
Is there an inspector out there? Is there a consultant out there? Who
We
okayed?
develop the plans and the specifications, so I am that person.
So you, if I had an area that's pumping and I'd say, I've got 100 by 20 that needs to be undercut, you would say, okay,
Yes,
do
please,
it.
yes.
And you may say, while you're going a foot more, go 18 inches because I'm concerned, and so you okay it.
I okay it.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, actually, you okay it.
With funding.
It's in your area, and you've asked the questions. Are you ready to make the motion?
Sure, move the board approves the additional costs for Piney Run Park paving and site improvements to Superior Facilities Management Services LLC in the amount of $42,654.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And I appreciate your concerns.
Yeah, it's not that I don't like change orders, and I understand them. I've been dealing this for decades on change orders, and I just feel like sometimes if we can, skip those and say, hey, it's your responsibility, give you the ceiling, and then you work yourself up to it, as opposed to give you a little bit, and then a little bit more, then a little bit more, and deal with the contract. I mean, I just,
And I don't,
that's.
Just for the record, I do believe that even with all the additional change orders, they are still the low bid on the project.
Yeah, and, and I
mean,
appreciate
even
that.
as they accumulate, they're still lower than the second lowest bid.
The change orders would have to happen regardless of who would have gotten the contract anyway, because they're
and
necessary
if
to
the
the
change
scope.
order is more than 10%, you have to bring it to us. So
And
it
it-
would be hard to estimate.
Right.
You'd be violating the rules if you didn't
Because
bring it.
it is based on the contract amount, so even if we come to you for the entire budget amount,
Right.
the initial contract was still 160, so that's where the resolution comes into effect, that we have to come back before you.
Are we aware, do other jurisdictions require change
Change orders.
orders above 10% to come back to the deciding of the authority?
I'm not,
I don't know.
Everybody does it a million.
I was going to say that, yeah.
as far as the
Have different-
percentages, yeah.
Different thresholds.
Okay.
This is just to control that staff is not going outside the meets and bounds that were set by the Board of County Commissioners, so, just.
and I'm ju-
There isn't scope creep as well. Somebody even asked about, is this
Right.
still within the same footprint?
Right.
Because things could happen.
Yeah, you don't want mission creep on any of this,
Right.
but I also want to honestly just, after doing this, is trust the staff to manage the
Yeah.
funds and not take away our authority, but, once the budget is established, I want you to manage the funds and not come to us now. I may be the odd man out of this, but
And
I
then-
just feel like
but-
you
but-
have the best insight and understanding.
But to do that, we'd have to change the rules,
Yeah,
which we can.
yeah.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, I know we were going to look at the delegation of authority resolution or ordinance that we briefly talked about. So I guess maybe once we get into the summer and pass the budget, we can have a look at that.
And I'm just here to make our administrators headache.
It's working.
So,
I like seeing Commissioner Rothstein squirm when he's asked for more money. I enjoy it.
I enjoy it as well.
I mean, you're gonna get it because it's the right thing to do, and you're telling us, and you're the experts in doing it. I'm just saying, if we skip that part of it and you just do it because you're authorized up front to go to the number that we
Yeah,
authorize, I mean,
yeah.
that's all. But, no, it's all good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Now, Department of Public Works, purchase and installation of replacement parts for the Freedom District Water Treatment Plant. Plate 7.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
The Office of Procurement, in cooperation with the Bureau of Utilities, requests the Board of, let me try that again. Request the Board of Commissioners approval to award a contract for the purchase and installation of replacement parts for the Freedom District Water Treatment Plant plate seller in Commissioner District 5 to Parks Incorporation of Cleveland, Ohio, in the amount of $52,548. This award will be made via a single source. The proposal amount is within the adopted budget.
Gentlemen, as per the briefing paper, last fall, the board approved the award of a contract to a consultant named GMB to evaluate the return water treatment process of the Freedom District Water Treatment Plant to address some MDE permit violations involving total recoverable aluminum and total suspended solids. That evaluation identified two issues with the treatment of the plant's process water. And before I go any further, I want to emphasize that the return process water is not the drinking water supply for the service area. It is simply the byproduct of the first step of the cleaning process. It has no interaction with the drinking water whatsoever following that point. The first issue that was identified is in regards to the condition of the baffles and plates within the plant's inclined plate settlers. Portions of the settlers' baffles, I'm pulling on Ryan now, baffles and plates were found to be corroded and were estimated to be operating at 40% of capacity of removal of solids rather than the design value of 85%. This item is for the purchase and installation of all necessary parts within the plate settlers. The lead time for these parts is approximately 10 weeks following the issuance of the purchase order. And the second issue that I mentioned, it was identified, it's recommended by the consultant to introduce a chemical coagulant to the process water flow stream to flocculate the aluminum byproduct of the initial drinking water treatment process. That in turn will turn the aluminum into a larger solid, which will allow the plate settlers to more readily take that from the return water flow. This process will be made operational when the plate settlers come online and are refurbished and come online. And finally, MDE has been kept informed of this progress and appears to be very satisfied with the planned improvements. Any questions for me?
And I appreciate, and even though you're trashing Ryan, I still appreciate it.
I was time.
But, you know, this is just another example of, you know, our focus on utility rates, you know, to doing what's right, because there's continuing fixes and upgrades and the necessary, you know, expenses, you know. And it's difficult because people's water bills and sewer bills go up and they're like, you know, frustrated. But this is just another example of the why. MD's coming out in July, I think. Are they scheduled to go out to Freedom?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
no.
Maybe offline we can talk about that, not necessarily taking a trip out there, but whatever highlights we want to provide her, you know, because you've done just incredible work in maintaining the systems, obviously this being one of them. And I'll move the Board of Commissioners award contract for purchase and installation of replacement parts for the Freedom District Water Treatment Plant plate settler to Parkson Corporation in the amount of $52,548.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions?
I think the lack of coherence among any of us today can be attributed back to you this morning with consolidation.
Yeah.
With that aside, no relevant
So we
comment.
can vote?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, no relevant comments. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're going to talk about demo and interior design renovations at the Public Safety Training Center.
Good morning.
All right, we'll try this again and not mess it up. The Office of Procurement, in cooperation with the Bureau of Building Construction, requests your approval to award a contract for demolition and interior design renovations at the Public Safety Training Center to Nichols Contracting in the amount of $539,559.65. This purchase will be made via Sourcewell Gordian contract, which was competitively bid. This purchase will be paid for via grant and has been approved by budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. If you remember last week, we were in front of you for the block building at the Public Safety for the exterior roof and siding. This is the interior part of this project where we'll be finishing off the inside so they can use it for storage and warehousing.
What's the grant?
The grant was $1 million. There was 3 different grants for the public safety. This is one of the $1 million grants for anything at the public safety area.
Is it a state grant?
It is a state grant.
Okay. I love using other people's money.
Do you anticipate that this will be everything you need for the interior portion of the building, or will there be additional costs down the road?
There are 3 additional costs of right now that are relatively minor. I don't believe I'll be coming back in front of you, but keep in mind that the design of this building, I was the architect. I used a Visio program to draw the building to scale and pull the permits and give to the contractors. I forgot 3 items while I was, it just happens. This is not my profession. One is a backflow preventer, relatively inexpensive, a couple fire extinguishers. I forget the 3rd item, but I'll be within that $1 million grant for sure.
It's a fire training center, so we don't need the fire.
But I mean, in terms of, you know, the bulk of the construction piece of the building, I mean, the things you mentioned were sort of tertiary, but this, do you think this will get you everything you need for the demo, refitting the inside to get?
The only outstanding item is the fire department has requested some shelving. I know what they want, but yeah, this is the bulk of it, and I believe I won't exceed $1 million.
Okay, no, that's great. Thank you. I will move the Board of Commissioners approve the contract for demolition and interior design renovations at the Public Safety Training Center to Nichols Contracting in the amount of $539,559.65.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any public comment on the phone or physically here?
Yes, Commissioner, I have a caller. Caller, if you could use *6 to unmute, you'll have 3 minutes. Please identify yourself. Yes, caller.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Commissioners. This is Catherine Adelaide. I'm here to support you as Republicans and update you on my news as a member of the Carroll County Republican Central Committee. I love Carroll County. I love Republicans Party, and I love preborn life. I hope you all had a blessed Passover and Easter, because it's been a while since I've been able to check in, and I thank you for the opportunity to communicate virtually and for all that you do. So I'm going to start off on May 2nd and May 3rd. We had our spring MDGOP convention in beautiful Cambridge, Maryland. And one of the highlights of that was the MDGOP passed a resolution declaring and affirming faith in governance and public service. This was in response to the yearly attempt to remove the word God from our Constitution. And I have to give the Democrats who went for that, because we couldn't have done it as Republicans alone, for defeating that. As usual, I'm very happy about that. Secondly, Carroll County was recognized for our work in municipal elections, which will bring me to municipal elections. We've all covered that pretty well, so I don't need to say too much, except that municipal elections are often considered the wild, wild west because they're not under state election laws, so we have to go by whatever's in their charter and their ordinance, which can vary by, by municipality. I will be submitting a detailed report. I was at the Taneytown municipal election and also the Sykesville municipal election. I love elections. I love municipal elections. Normally I coordinate some sign waving from 6 to 8 a.m. Then we do electioneering during the day, and then I watch with canvassing and the ballot counting and how important it is that we have poll watchers. So not only go out and vote, but please volunteer to be a poll watcher, because without poll watchers, we really can't guarantee a lot in any election. We all need to be watching our elections. So thank you for, promoting municipal elections. We really need to stay on top of those. They do affect our lives personally. On a pro-life report, as the chair of the pro-life committee, we have business cards for Carroll County, Maryland Right to Life. You can go to our website. You have to Google it under Carroll County, Maryland Right to Life. So we're glad we got our website up and running, and we're doing some fundraising. I have been appointed to the Maryland State, Maryland Right to Life. They had a quarterly meeting, so I'm pleased to be a part of that. And of course, we want to mention Mother's Day coming up on Sunday, May 11th. So we want to remember our moms and give them thanks. Our next meeting, oh, there goes my timer. Our next meeting, Carroll County Republican, sorry, turn that off. Our next meeting will be May 15th, not the usual fourth Thursday, but the 22nd, because it's the beginning of a nice long Memorial Day weekend. Thank you all. Have a great week.
Thank you. And
That's all I have.
okay, thank you. Admin session open. Commissioners, any thoughts or anything? Agenda.
Hello, Wanda. Nice to see you again. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, week one. Monday, May 12th at 3 p.m., Transit Advisory Council, Commissioner Kyler. On Tuesday, 10 a.m., solar hearing evidentiary case, and that's me. I can listen, correct, Tim?
Yes.
Yeah, but I can't participate.
That's right, it's streaming.
Yep. And for the outsiders, anybody that wants can go on YouTube and listen. 1 p.m., open session, no public comment, adopted budget work session. 7 p.m., Ag Center Board meeting, Commissioner Kyler. On Wednesday, May 14th, the Farm Museum Board meeting, Commissioner Vigliotti. Board of Education meeting in Westminster at 4 p.m. Carroll County Adult Drug Treatment Court graduation at 4:30. Gordon, Kyler, and Rothstein. And at 6 p.m. is the Westminster FAA banquet, Gordon, Kyler, and Rothstein. That reminds me, I don't know, I think Winters Mill has an upcoming FFA banquet. I don't know if we've seen the date or time yet, but I'll double check. On Thursday, May 15th, 8 a.m. Closed admin, 9 a.m. open session, Priority Care Emergency Medical Services EMS Week proclamation, spending authority, Prime Care Medical, approval to purchase mobile radios and accessories, contract renewal, cohort instructional program at Carroll Community College, public comment, open session open, admin session open, agenda review. Friday shows nothing. Saturday, I'll be at Hampstead Day. On Sunday, Commissioner Gordon has the podcast for that week. Grim Gold Park Youth Fishing Rodeo Awards presentation at the park, Commissioner Guerin. And at 2 p.m., there's an Eagle Scout Court of Honor for Evan French at the American Legion in Hampstead. And if any other commissioners are interested in joining that, please let me know. Week 2. Monday shows no activities. Tuesday, Planning and Zoning, Commissioner Gordon. At 1 p.m., open session, no public comment, budget work session. Veterans Advisory Meeting at 2 p.m., Commissioners Gordon and Kyler. We can probably make that, right?
Is frequently, the boards don't even need this second.
Yeah, we should be
open s-
down to
you know,
not a
yeah.
whole lot, but
So you
so
have
we'll
the-
see.
The prior week, it usually wraps it up, but can't.
Okay. Wednesday, Carroll Community College Board of Trustees, Commissioner Kyler. ESAC, Commissioner Guerin. There's a solar hearing, that's virtual, Commissioner Kyler. On Thursday, closed admin at 8 a.m., open session at 9 a.m., priority Carroll. Comment letter for 20-town annexation, budget adoption, and for anybody that wants to comment on the budget, there's no public comment that day either. So both work sessions, we had the public hearing. We're open to emails if you want to send us something, but none of the meetings will include public comment.
Yeah, and Ms. Hill, if you could add me to the 7 o'clock virtual solar hearing, I'm going to try to attempt to be in 1.5 places at the same time.
We have cloning in the back.
We're going to try.
It's all good.
Now, do we, Mr. Burke, do we need to send, when they're virtual, once we say somebody's involved, we have the link, or do we need to tell them each person that wants to be?
We have to have them sign up to get the link.
Okay.
So you can just go to the PSC website like people have been doing to just send an email. Okay,
Yeah, if you have trouble, let me know.
okay.
Okay.
We can do it for you.
All right, thank you.
Public comment, in general, admin session open, agenda review.
Tim.
The 10th Annual Drug Overdose and Prevention Vigil is at the Portico at 6:30. Commissioners Gordon and Kyler. Friday, Saturday shows no activity, and Commissioner Guerin has the podcast that week. Any other comments, questions? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Oh.